Hello. On the last video about Moorish sovereign citizens, we were discussing the case Christy v. Elliott. I was not able to find the actual case. I was only able to find references to that case from Illinois that contained summaries of the case and references to what the case was about. Now, that should have been sufficient, but as we can see here, Astro Bay was upset that I could not find the case and insisted that the case was real, leaving comments such as, type in the case law and view the case. Foreign Europeans at it again. Instead of looking up the case laws, you went to a website and didn't even go into any further detail. Try again. Now, the irony, of course, is that Astro Bay didn't do this himself. He just believed RV Bay when they told him that this was the real case and that the case said what they claimed it did. So that annoyed me, so I tried to figure out how I could find a copy of the case without having to fly to Illinois. I was able to find a book by Silas Flint, quote, the first auto laws in the United States, which contained a good summary of the case, which meant that he had found a copy of the case. So I emailed the author and managed to get a copy of the case for free off him. So thank you to Mr. Silas Flint. Okay, so to start with, this is the summary by Mr. Flint of the case. Christy v. Elliott was one of the cases brought by a disgruntled motorist who challenged the validity of automobile regulations in Illinois. It is a fairly long case in which the motorist made several arguments to show that the Illinois statute requiring a vehicle to stop when approaching frightened horses was unconstitutional and invalid. The motorist had failed to follow this law, resulting in injury to the other party. In the lawsuit, the motorist argued that the state law discriminated against all automobile drivers as a class. The court held, however, that the regulation was within the state's police power to regulate for the peace and safety of its citizens, and that all those in the class of auto drivers were treated the same. So, again, nothing to do. It does not say that you cannot be arrested for driving without a license. And I guess you need a refresher of what RV Bay says Christy v. Elliott says. His quote, traveling in an automobile on the roads was not a threat to the public safety, blah, blah. Speeding, running stop signs, traveling without license plates or registration are not threats to the public safety and thus are not arrestable offenses. Okay, so here we go to the actual Christy v. Elliott. As you can see here, it's Supreme Court of Illinois from 1905. This is before the Model T came out. So you can guess how late this goes. As you can see here, the guy was sued to recover damages resulting from injury. He was thrown from a wagon drawn by mules upon a public highway. Keep this in mind. This is how long ago this was. This was when wagons pulled by mules were still on the highway. Negligence in running out of an automobile. He returned a verdict of $1,250. He sued for 6 counts, saying that he's arguing that the statute prohibiting a speed of more than 15 miles an hour was unconstitutional, and that the statute requiring them to come to a full stop when there is a team of horses appearing them, arguing that it was also unconstitutional. And seriously, look at this. This is back when the speed limit on the highway was 15 miles an hour. As you can see, I'm not going to read all of it because you can see how ridiculously long it is. Basically, he lost the case, and he did have to pay the $1,250. As you can see here, they basically argue that the 50 mile per hour limit is constitutional, and that requiring you to stop when you see a horse is also constitutional. They say it's pretty much spelled out here. The first section of the statute is challenged as being unconstitutional, and they disagree and say the state inherently possesses and the General Assembly may lawfully exercise the power of restraint upon private rights as may be found to be necessary and appropriate to promote the health, comfort, and safety and welfare of society. This power is known as the police power of the state. The act in question was designed to secure the safety of travelers upon the public highway. It is a matter of common knowledge that an automobile is likely to frighten horses. All this makes such a horseless vehicle a source of danger to persons traveling upon the highway in vehicles drawn by horses. So contrary to what RV Bay says, Christy v. Elliott actually says that automobiles are dangerous to other people, and that your use of them can be regulated. I'm gonna point out here that nowhere in here does it say that it is not an arrestable offense. Nowhere does it say anything about seat belts or running a stop sign, or it also doesn't say anything about traveling without a license or traveling without registration. This is purely a case dealing with a statute from 1905 that required you to drive less than 50 miles an hour and to stop completely when you see horses. So yes, like I said in the previous video, RV Bay lied. They faked the quote. That quote does not say, it does not exist in the case. And that if they're claiming that it's not a quote and it's actually a summary of the case, that is not an accurate summary of the case. That is completely, that quote has nothing to do with Christy v. Elliott. So I'm sorry to the guy that commented saying RV Bay was right. No, RV Bay made it up. Actually, more correctly, they didn't make it up. They copied and pasted it from somebody who made it up. It was probably some white sovereign citizen guy, but they didn't do the homework. And now there's some guy in South Carolina or North Carolina who is facing felony charges for driving away because he thought that this was a real case. It is not a real case. Please do your homework. That is the whole point of this channel. There are people like RV Bay and others who are putting out fake case law, fake quotes, and it is putting young people in jail. That guy's going to have to deal with a felony criminal record for the rest of his life because RV Bay lied to him. That's what you guys are defending every time you leave a comment angry at me for doing the actual homework.